Well, hello, everybody, and welcome back to this week's episode of the Mile of Golf podcast. As always, we do appreciate you joining in from wherever you are around the world on what has been a very sad week for Australian golf, and we'll talk about the passing of Jack Newton very shortly, but it's also been a big week on the golf tours. A lot to talk about. I've got the guys there. Rocket's back from his road trip. Let's bring the boys in. Gentlemen, good evening. How are you?
Excellent. How are you?
I'm great, thanks. Rocket, how are you?
I was going
to wait till you at least start, and then I was going to... there he is. He's getting cocky now. He's waiting for his music. He's waiting for the music cues. It was always been a surprise. I guess 180 episodes in, Rocket, I guess the format's pretty reliable by now. You do expect it. So, but are you well?
I'm very good, thank you. Very good.
Good Easter break. Got on the road. Rocket on the road.
No, it was really good. There was no flyovers or anything like that. No, we're a little bit further north this time.
Magic, did you get away?
I did not. I played a little bit of golf on Saturday, and then I ate a lot on Sunday. That's it. That was my week.
Okay.
40 on Friday for the Bulldogs.
40 on Friday for the Bulldogs. Did you get a win? No, I didn't.
Yeah, we did.
You guys, sorry. I'm just too engrossed in the Blues, just on their winning form. What are they? 4-1. Beautiful. Looking for September. I've got a new September team. It's Carlton. I don't have to swap out for another team. Carlton are my September team now. So, for me, my start, I was busy. It was busy in the golf retail world. We had Good Friday off. We closed for Good Friday, and we come together in Melbourne as a drum and golf collective, the franchisees and the drum and golf head office people and some suppliers. And we all get together. This year it was down at Mornington. It's been the last few years at Mornington Golf Course, who opened the place up for us and let us run a charity day. It's a it's a 4-man Ambrose event, and all the stores put teams in, and we all chip in some money and raise some funds for, in our case, Lifeline. It's a very successful day. It was great to see everyone down there. I didn't play. I got the pleasure of driving around in the cart with none other than you know who. Have a guess.
I know the answer.
The Bogle. And a lot of people, when they knew that I was hanging out with the Bogle, they said, "Does he still have a hit?" And the Bogle, the answer to that is, the Bogle doesn't have much of a hit. He doesn't play a lot of golf anymore. But Brett had a substantial back operation a couple of years ago. He showed me what they put inside there, and gave me the ins and outs. He's a very detailed guy. Gave me the ins and outs of what they did, and it was quite extensive. But he can. Basically, what that allowed him to do is play golf. He can play golf, but he hits some shots for all of the teams. And one thing that anyone, if they're wondering, can Brett Hogel still hit a golf ball? And jeepers weepers, he still can. He absolutely flushes it cold, just bang. And he was one of the best ball strikers.
He's always been one of the best ball strikers. I remember there was a corporate day at Victoria Golf Club, and he was just up on the range, just hitting shots, and he's just asking people what shots to hit. And he just said, "Oh, I can hit my 3-wood left-handed."
Yeah.
And there's only one other person I've seen do this, and that was Richard Green, where he was a lefty and he did it the other way around. And he turns his 3-wood over and hits it left-handed and just hits this just towering draw with hits a left-handed, right-handed 3-wood.
Yeah, well, that's the Bogle. He wasn't doing any of that, but he's a long-term drum and golf ambassador. You've seen Brett Ogle on the ads for drum and golf, and he still comes to all of the events. He'll host the awards nights, all that sort of thing. He's a fun and a funny guy, and he gives up his time and he comes down. So it was interesting driving around in a cart with him for 3 or 4 hours, and I was taking some photos of all the groups and doing the stuff that I do for drum and golf now, which was a lot of fun. But I guess, I didn't want to rush through it in the intro, but I wanted to spend a little bit more time talking about it because I was sitting alongside Brett when the news of the passing of his friend and my friend Jack Newton passed away, and it was quite sad. And to be alongside Brett when he got that news, and just to watch his reaction and see him, get upset by, the passing of a great Australian golfer, and a great Australian man for the game of golf. I was privileged to be part of the very early days of what Jack Newton put together for Australian junior golfers. He was a mentor to Brett, and Brett was someone that he looked up to. Through Jack's professional career, we know his results in runner-up in the 1980 Masters, behind Seve, the duel that he had with Tom Watson at Carnoustie, and really did put Australian golf on the map. He was the big blonde bombshell before Greg, and Greg looked up to Jack. And around that time, the 70s and 80s, when Australian golf was really going through another resurgence, Jack was the man. And it was just somewhat fitting in a weird sort of way that I was sitting next to Brett to talk to him about that. And it was quite sad for us because he was a big figure in my life in my junior years. I'm older than you guys, and I don't know, how did you experience the time of Jack Newton, and what was your sort of memories of Jack?
For me, the first I sort of heard about Jack, when you talk about the time before Greg, there was that transition. So when I was first getting into golf, the Sharks book, Shark Attack, and he talks about the 79 Australian Open where it was a duel between Greg and Jack Newton, which Jack Newton prevailed in. So that was the first I'd kind of heard and read about Jack Newton and who this person was, because then for me, it was like, I'm only a kid, and then I'm watching, I think it was like the 87 Australian Masters. So this is when Sharks going peak at Kubra, and I'm seeing Jack Newton, and then I'm like, dude has one arm. It's like, hang on, 7 years ago he's dueling, and this doesn't, like, what is this? And back then there's no internet, right? So you got to find out what had happened, and then you find out what had happened to Jack, and then it's like, oh, okay, that's quite tragic, because then you find out the results of 75 Open Championship against Tom Watson, 80 Masters against Seve. There was another Masters one he was close in as well. I think he was close in a couple, actually. So you see that, on the big stage, he was a performer and could have been anything, right? And then for me, he became the voice of Australian golf for probably the next, like, nearly 10 years for me. Like, for me, the first real Australian event that I probably watched with intensity was that 87 Australian Masters, which was always played in February, I think it was, at Huntingdale. And you've got, I still remember it's the voice. You have Jack Newton, you got Sandy Roberts, Renton Laidlaw, and I'm trying to think who they would have out in the ground. Can't remember who they had out in the ground, but just those three voices, that they're just etched in my memory from watching that event, and then watching, it's just because Channel 7 were the broadcaster for the Masters and the PGA and the Australian Open and most other events as well that were being played. So that his voice is in my head because that's what I grew up with.
Yeah. What about you, Mike? Do you have those memories of Jack as a commentator?
Yeah, definitely. So for me, I mean, we talked about it before. So I'm 45. I started playing golf and really being interested in golf in the late 90s. So for me, it was knowing him in two ways. One was mainly through the commentary, as Rocket said. He was the voice of golf. He was the one who, if you, like you said, him and Sandy were the ones that I just knew as if golf was on TV, they were going to be telling me what was going on. And the other one was from the Celebrity Classic. That's always one that for me was something that was out of the box. He's probably ahead of his time doing something different. And these Jack Newton Celebrity Classic was like massive. Like, it was so interesting, and it had a lot of airtime for many years there. It was on TV, and then they did the packaged up highlights probably in the last few years that it's been on. But yeah, they were probably the two main ways that I sort of interacted with him.
Well, just in December gone, I can't remember. It might have been the 25th anniversary of that Celebrity Classic. I don't know if it exactly was, but I think it was like a signature year, and they obviously missed the last couple of years. But it was a really important one because Jack had been unwell with dementia, and so we weren't sure how long we were going to have him. But it was a big one to get back up there. It occurs, and a lot of people don't know the backstory to Jack. He was born in Cessnock and I'm a Cessnock boy. So, when Jack started, as many professional golfers do, started to give back to junior golf, and he was one of the early ones to give back to junior golf. And this is before his accident. We would have an 18-hole Jack Newton sub-junior classic at Cessnock, and Jack would come out there, and you talked about Bogle's trick shots. Jack Newton was the first one that I saw do trick shots on the range. He'd do a little clinic with all us kids from Cessnock and Curry and Branxton and Maitland and the ones that had come around. And Jack was the first one to put a ball on top of each other, hit it with a wedge or whatever club and pop it up into the air and catch it in his pocket and do all that sort of stuff. So, Jack was a Cessnock man that then launched into the world, married to Jackie, and, she was a great support of Jack and a great person in her own right. The kids, Christy and Clint. Clint was a very successful rugby league player. He's now the CEO of the Rugby League Players Association, and have been so integral in Jack's life as a golfer and as someone who gave back to junior golf. That Jack Newton Junior Classic that was an 18-hole event for the kids in the Hunter Valley, became a 36-hole event, and it got bigger, and kids from Sydney would come. And then it became a 54-hole event. And then all the kids from Australia, all the national teams, the state teams would come, and we'd all get billeted out in the local communities. And then it became a 72-hole event and became an international event. And, we had teams from New Zealand, Malaysia, Indonesia, the Philippines sending teams down. And it really was a national event centered in the town that Jack was born in. No, Jack obviously moved out of, he moved to Sydney and Newcastle, actually. He had a big place in Newcastle there, but he never gave up his connection to Cessnock, and it was really, really important for him. And just the experience that I had in that Jack Newton Junior Golf Foundation, which was obviously very New South Wales centric, but this sub-junior classic was a national, international tournament. And I got to grow up and see names like David Diaz. Now, you go to Albert Park and you'll see David Diaz giving lessons in the pro shop there, but David Diaz was a big golfer in his own right when he was in his heyday, won the,
no one could snap a club like David Diaz.
Well, but he could play, he could golf his ball. Now he was the first. He was the first, poster boy of my sort of golfing career, because this young Victorian, I thought, what's these Victorians doing here? And it dawned on me that this was a big thing. And he's got black pants on, a black jumper, black FootJoy Classics, and he just looked $1 million. And I'm still rocking.
Pretty sure he had the Brill cream in the hair too.
All of that, and I'm rocking my pink penguin polos and my blue, corset chinos or whatever. There was nothing on these guys, and all of a sudden, all us kids up there had something to look up to and be driven towards. John Wade, once again, you'll see John Wade at Commonwealth now as a golf pro, but John Wade not too long ago, played in the British Open. He won the thing. So many other names, Shane Tate, who was, you go back to
1988 Australian amateur champion.
Exactly right. But, there's one classic bit of footage there of Tatey and maybe Stuart Ginn and the Shark and someone else playing an amateur event at Virginia, where Greg was from. So Greg and Tatey were from the same club. And even today, I was reminded of...
Well, Stuart Ginn and the Shark were roomies for on the Australian tour and Asian tour, and Stuart Ginn showed the Shark the ropes.
There you go. But even today, I was reminded of the significance and the influence of Jack Newton on junior golf and on the foundation of the success of Australian golf. When Gabriel Hertzstedt posted his Instagram story saying, I'm cancelling lessons for the week, I've got some golf to play. Well, he and Mark Hensby had both qualified 1 and 2 for the PGA Champions Tour. So they've gone through qualifying to get back onto that. Now, these guys are my age. They're 50, 51, whatever. 1985, that was the leaderboard at the Jack Newton Junior Sub-Junior Classic. Mark Hensby and Gabriel Hertzstedt going head-to-head for supremacy as juniors. And here they are, products of that environment, going and playing, their careers on the Champions Tour. And, it was just a really poignant thing when I woke up this morning and saw that. And I said to Gabe, I said, mate, just like we were 16. And he said, yeah, you're right, mate. And, so Jack was, Bads, Jeff Ogilvy, Wade Ormsby, Jordan Ormsby, who was, as good a golfer as a junior as Wade, stayed in my house. All these things happened because of Jack Newton. Jack was friends with Dad, through the wine industry. Jack liked to drink. That wasn't the secret. Jack appreciated a red wine, and my dad was the purveyor of the red wine to
hated a red.
Well, my dad was the purveyor of red wine to, most of the New South Wales golf fraternity, Dunkey and Jack and a lot of the guys at PGF, the Mercers and whatever else. And that was a really interesting way for me to grow up in and around, because I got this experience, my dad sort of dealing with these people. And Jack would come up to the tournament and he'd sit there and he'd entertain anyone. He'd have a drink with anyone, and he would be the first there and last to leave. And he wanted to make sure that everyone, kids, parents of kids, had a great experience. And, we got to spend quite a lot of time with him. I was a junior captain. Dale Innocent, now Dale Marshall, Ashley's wife, was the junior girls captain, very, very successful Australian women golfer in her own right. You'll find Dale working at Metropolitan now. She was very close to Jack and Jackie. We still all keep contact with Jackie. But, Jack was just... he was a great figure, and he really set a lot of young junior kids on a pathway for success in golf through that, providing that forum. And we'll miss him, but his legacy lives on. Clint and Kirsty and Christy, and Jackie will make sure of that. But anyway, Jack Newton, you're a bloody legend, and we'll miss you. But we thank you for everything you did for us kids in the Hunter Valley, in New South Wales, but also Australia, and your contribution to golf in Australia. So, Jack, rest in peace, mate. There you go.
Well said.
Thanks for letting me say that, gents, because it was pretty important. So, on with the rest of the show. What's been happening in golf?
Oh, not a lot. Quiet week.
Quiet week?
It's been a funny week. It's been a week where it hasn't had the Euro Tour yet, so that's just starting off this week. We've had the PGA Tour, which we've all had our tips in for, but other than that, it's been little dotted storylines I've felt this week on and off, just all little tidbits.
Little nuggets of gold.
Little nuggets, exactly. Yeah.
Postmasters nuggets of gold.
Yeah, well, that's it. You get such a big week with the Masters and everyone's enthralled in golf. And just like us, I think a few of the players were pretty similar. They got to Harbour Town, and a few of them were a little bit tired and a little bit happy to have the weekend off. But Cam Smith and Dustin Johnson and a couple other boys that were probably went in pretty heavy favourites didn't get to the weekend. So Dustin was all right. He got over missing the cut all right. We just went out and caught some big fish. Yeah, that's
well. You got to give. So if you think about post majors, usually the events that are post a major usually field pretty weak events, but the turnout for Heritage for a very long time has always been really, really good, and it's always it's in a funny spot, but it still gets a pretty damn good turnout from players, so top ranked players, and this is probably the best turnout they've had for probably a decade. But yeah, it was pretty good, and it's one of my favorite tournaments to watch.
Yeah, I was shocked. You're right. Like when I saw the names that were there, Cantlay, Cam Smith, I was like, these guys aren't playing. There's no way they're going to withdraw. They'll be buggered after the weekend. They were all there. Cam only just missed the cut for a little while there. It looked like he was going to be, instead of starting and finishing with double bogeys, I think 2 of his first 3 holes on Thursday he had double bogeys. So I thought he really should have stayed home here. But he fought it out and only just missed by the cut by 1 or 2 shots. So but the playoff is how it was settled. Jordan Spieth and Paddy Cantlay.
The Glacier.
There's a lot of people in the mix. I don't think I can remember a tournament whereby the weekend came and then I think there was 70 players within 6 shots of the lead, or something ridiculous like that. The stat that got posted. I can't remember a tournament so tight where guys were on the border of making the cut and were, half a dozen shots off the leader. It's unbelievable. But
and the change in the top 10, right? The change over the weekend of people making it to the top 10, and if you were in the top 10 when you started, say, the third round, and you played okay golf, all of a sudden you're 20th.
Yeah,
in a heartbeat.
Exactly. Yep. No, you just wasn't going to be good enough. The final scorecard says it all on how many people were in the mix. I mean, you had 2 guys that were in the playoff, and then the guys that were 1 shot behind them filled the spaces up to 9th. So unless you were 1 shot behind the leader, you're outside the top 10. So that sums up how close it was. My pick was Lowry, and I thought he had won, and I thought I was going to have a very, very good Monday, but he
chipped into
the water. But to be fair, he was hanging on for dear life on that back 9. He was hitting some terrible shots. I think the top on the set was the second hole. That wasn't very good. The top, but even off the tee when he was hitting it, a few of them were like, he was wailing on it and they were peeling off right, and the next one to peel off left. I'm like, he's not controlling this, and he's not controlling his emotions at all.
But again, he's chipper. He just showed how good he is with a wedge in his hands around the greens.
He did. And he got up at all bar that one time, and he was probably only maybe half a rotation or 2 a rotation less, and it doesn't go in the drink. So it stays on, and he's got a putt for par. Instead, it goes in. He makes double. He loses he's out of the playoff by 1. So it was a big week. And Jordan Spieth won yet again. So he won it in a very un-Jordan-like way. He's putting terribly, and he won it with everything but his putter.
Thing with this course, though, and I've talked about it before, it's a typical Pete Dye course in terms of it's just you have to shape shots. So it's tee to green. It's all about, and it's because it's not massively long. It's perfect for Jordan, and so tee to green, he was in the top. I think strokes gained. I think he finished fifth. I'm not sure.
Yep.
I'm not the data lake man.
No, I don't have it open.
I'm just here for entertainment. So tee to green. So putting is not essential around that course. It's making sure you hit plenty of fairways and in the right spots in the fairways to give yourself the right shot into the greens, and then being able. The greens aren't big, so if you're hitting your irons well, you're going to get a lot of looks. So the putter doesn't have to be hot. It just needs to be good, and you just need to not put yourself in the wrong position, because if you're out of position, like some of the shots are just diabolical. And if you go to look at the leaderboard, essentially more than 50% of the leaderboard, it's all about ball striking. It's not about having a hot putter. And then think about Jordan. Like I was thinking about this, and I was trying to think about other tournaments that he's won, and there's still like this perception that, like, you think about the first Masters that he won, right? He kind of just streeted the field, but the reputation that generated is stuck with him, and it's like there's this perception that where's this Jordan, this dominant Jordan, but he was always in contention. But it looked like he should be missing the cut when he plays all the time. And it looks even more like this now. Like, and if you think about it, like he won last year at Colonial. Has anyone, like, it's already hard to win on the PGA Tour with your A game. Has anyone won more tournaments with his B game than Jordan?
It's a solid point. Did anyone? How did Jordan fare in the tipping? Did many people or anyone? No one tipped Jordan.
No one had Jordan.
So no one is tipped out of the 60 plus, nearly 70 people that. And there's some fairly serious tippers in there. Like there's some people doing really well and putting 3 of us to shame. No one tipped him.
No one of the 70 pick him, but the person in 66th position whose name is Spieth Fanatic didn't pick him. So,
there you go.
Stiff.
So
that's very stiff.
That's it. That shows how
it's
much
a loose
faith.
Connection. It's a loose connection.
That's how much this action.
Oh, the pre-shot routine is I mean, as someone who's still working on his swing, it's tough to watch. And that 1 foot putt that he missed on Saturday was a meltdown.
I was listening to the no laying up guys, and I didn't see the Valero, and that's the second one he's done in 3 weeks.
Yeah, it was terrible.
And so, if once a year for a brain fade is one thing, doing it twice, and he has form doing this as well. Like there's probably plenty of. I reckon he's probably got 4 or 5 in the last number of years of those brain fade 1 foot putts.
Well, his strokes game putting, because I've pulled up the data now. So when you're talking about when he won the Masters, because when I think of Jordan Spieth, I think putting. That's his stat, right? So, 2015 through 2017, he's picking up about a shot and a half on the field. Then that disappears through 2018, 2019. Then he gets it back through 2020. And 2021, 2022, he's PGA Tour average strokes game putting.
Someone made the point, and I think it was another one of the shows I was listening to, and it's a really good point. And it's one of those things where once you hear it and you kind of think back to it, then you go, oh, yeah, that makes sense. And Jordan's strength is it's the 8-footers to the 15-footers. So they're the ones that are either for birdie or some crazy par. And they're the ones that he normally pours in all the time. And it's the ones that are inside 6 feet where you get nervous. And remember, he used to do the looking at the hole.
Yep.
And he hasn't done that for a while.
Yeah.
So there's lots of things going on with Jordan. And last year, I referred to it as the sticky tape and the duct tape and everything's tied together. We thought it had been fixed and had been welded and reinforced and you're able to take some of those things off again. Nah, whatever's happened over the summer, like they've pulled it apart and, they're using, I'm pretty sure they're using like Selly's all seal instead of bolts to as rivets, right? So it's all loose and it's just, starting to wear and tear a little bit.
Yeah. And
then it's like, oh shit, we better get the gaffer tape back out again. Has anyone got some rubber bands or some, maybe some hair clips or something?
But if you think
whatever's going on, it's being held together with just
exactly. But if I said to you, Jordan Spieth's strokes game putting's out the window. He's only PGA Tour average now, and I showed you a video of his pre-shot routine, and I told you he won on the weekend, you'd be like, "What on the Corn Ferry Tour?" I can't believe he won. I still can't. I cannot. I mean, we're talking the winner was 13 under, so we're not talking like he didn't rip the place apart, but I just shocked.
Well, yeah. Well, it didn't hurt that he had 10 other people that just really couldn't be bothered winning.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because he was already in the clubhouse. I think when he finished, Lowry was on like the 12th hole.
Yeah. He was.
So there's still so much golf to happen. There's 10 other people that had the opportunity and they went, nah, Jordan needs the confidence boost. Let's just suck for the next 6 holes and give it to him and make it a close event.
Well, if Lowry pars in from 12, he wins.
Yeah.
So he went at the double on 3 and then couldn't make anything else in the last couple.
Yeah. And the thing with Jordan, I reckon if this was any other course, it wouldn't have happened. It's just that Heritage is not long. It is a shot maker's course. So it's built for him for hitting irons and hitting them accurately. So it's perfect for him. And then just around the greens as well. So just his wedge game, like that's the other thing. His wedge game is still
it's still good.
I would take his wedge game is just, it's beautiful.
To round out the tips though, only one person had Paddy Cantlay. So they got second alone, and that was Robbo Magic.
The
I'm
Glacier.
thinking it's Robbo Magic. I don't think it's Robo Magic. Could be Robo Magic. Maybe he's a RoboCop fan and likes Magic. Maybe he likes Magic.
I'll go with Robo Magic.
Okay, Robo.
Yeah, it's better than Robo Magic. Robo
Magic. He maybe he's making fun of me. Maybe he thinks he's Robo, like he's the RoboCop and I'm just Magic Cop Mike. He's nothing. Maybe he's the better version.
Just Magic Mike the stripper, mate.
Yeah. He's got 872K in the kick this week, and then there's a truckload of us that had Lowry and Harold Varner the third. I was actually Ginger Ninja was sending me a couple of his betting slips this week, and he was in for a very, very good week if Neiman could have pinched a top 10, but he got top 12. So it was a solid min-woo coming for him. Yeah, but that was it. And in the overalls, because I know we like to keep up on the overalls between the three of us anyway, in third place is Rocket. It's really tightening up. He is 36th overall, 2.05 million. I've
got a result.
33rd at 2.353. And Ross is at 2.359. He's got $6,000 on me in 32nd possession, and I'm coming for him.
I'll just keep
Shane Lowry in that ship into the water.
I just keep picking
up. I'd been top 10.
Look, but my strategy is to go for safety, and to get something that, and that's all it's given me. Like I'm playing my tips like I play. A PGA Tour player, some of them might play for safety and mid-pack results and to get a check, and that's what I'm getting. I'm getting nothing.
That's right.
I've had a couple of cracks at, like I've had my Cantlay run and he did nothing, but he got something for me. And I just keep getting, like Danny Berger, T21, -8. He's only 5 shots out of the money, but it's just not good enough, Danny Berger.
Well, we all get the week off this week, so there's no tipping for the pairs event, but next week we have the Mexico Open starting on the 28th, and then it's Wells Fargo, Byron Nelson, PGA Championship. So a few very big weeks coming up after that.
So it's Zurich this week, is it?
Zurich this week. Just before we finish up on
let's go back to the Heritage. Yep.
Heritage. 2 little stories that I know Rocket wants to talk about. One of them. One was Morgan Hoffman. His first tournament back. Just missed bogeyed his last, was it?
Yeah, he's bogeyed the last. He on day 2 he teed off on 10, so he's the 9th hole was only a little short par 4, dog leg left. So it's pretty much you just take an iron and smack it up the fairway, hit a wedge on the green, just try and make 4, and he's pulled it left and then he's pulled it into the trap and he can get up and down.
Yeah, it was a bit disappointing. And the other one that I thought was funny, because I actually, as soon as he got called for it, I was like, oh, of course, was Dylan Fratelli hitting the ball out of the Spanish moss. And
he straddled it.
Yeah. But then he, as soon as someone called him on it for that, you can't do that. You go, yeah, fair play. That everyone that play golf knows that he's 100% wrong. But he put out a tweet that was like, yeah, golf rules win again. I was like, what are you complaining about the rules for? You messed up. Deal with it. So that was a bit of a weird one.
No, he's thinking about the money he's lost on that one.
Yeah. If anyone hasn't seen it, just type in, I'm sure everyone has, but Dylan Fratelli. Yeah. That's what he said. I thought this would be the greatest part of my life. I was assessed a 2-stroke penalty for standing astride my intended line of play during this shot. The rules of golf remain undefeated. Sad face. It's like,
if anyone is listening that doesn't know the rules of golf, it might be more social golfer, but has a handicap and sometimes has to play by the rules. Well, you can't basically straddle your line.
Same as you can't, as a putting, you can't stand like croquet.
Yeah.
Even though you think my putting stroke's like croquet.
You can side saddle it, but you can't straddle it.
Correct.
So same with hitting a shot. You can't jimmy it out between your legs. You have to stand to one side or the other. You can reverse the club and hit it left-handed, etc. But you can't do that. Funnily enough, I was playing golf last week with a young professional, actually. I won't mention his name, but with a young professional, and he pegs it up on the 12th. We're trying to play ready golf. He pegs it up and pegs it down on the blues. We were playing off the whites and smacks it. And then one of the playing partners goes, "What are you playing off the blues for, mate?" And he's just like, "Oh, no." Now, do you know what happens then?
I think he gets a penalty and has to replay the shot.
Two-shot penalty has to replay the shot, yeah. So he had to hit it again and had to assess the 2-shot penalty.
And if he doesn't, I think it's bad news bears. If he doesn't replay the shot, there's big problems.
Yeah, and it might be. Yeah, I actually don't know what happens then after that. Please, I'm not claiming to be a rules expert here, but I did get Blakey on the phone. I did get him on the phone just to called the Golf Rules Questions guy in, and he helped us out just to make sure that we were, like playing under tournament conditions. Got the rule, the Saudi. Blakey's going. I think Blakey's going to London to referee in the live. In the live event over there.
It was June.
Yeah, in June. Yeah. So anyway, we called Blakey in, and Blakey said, "Well, he's got to replay it, and he's got 2 shots." So that basically put him out of the game for that hole. Anyway,
the one that went 15
playing
under
4
on the north.
What's that? Sorry.
So he's playing 4.
Yeah. So hit 1, 2, 3 back to the tee, 4 off the tee.
What about So I said he wasn't the one that shot 15 under on the north end.
No, he definitely wasn't under young Ben Murphy. What a round. 57 off the stick. It set the that is 15 under. Yeah, 57 off the stick. It set the golf world alight. I've never seen something shared and reposted so many times, which rightly so. It's 57 off the stick. Don't care if it was off the white tees. It's a tough course, and
it's the north course. It's an ass kicker. It'll punch you in the mouth. You could be playing from the middle of the fairway, have the tees put in the middle of the fairway, and it'll punch you in the face.
Yeah.
Were you playing that day, Ross?
No, I didn't play.
I
was down the course. I just went down to take some photos, and as the sun was going down, and then I came back, and then, saw all this was happening and unfolding, and it's pretty good. I don't know, Ben.
I didn't think it was it wasn't like it was a deathly still perfect day. I mean, it still was a normal. It wasn't a tough day for golf, but it wasn't a super easy day.
No, there was a breeze, and the tees. Yeah. I don't know where the pins or the tees were, but you just look at some of the scores. Like he eagled 3, which which is pretty. That's drive it over the hill. It's a sand wedge in. It's an easy par 5.
Yeah, but it's still a good tee shot to get it over the hill, because I've seen plenty of people that, including myself, take driver off that hole and make doubles. It's not hard to make a double on that hole.
Correct. But have a look at the finishing stretch if you can find it and see the finishing stretch, like
15, 16, 17, 18. That is not an easy stretch of holes.
16 a birdie on. So I saw a video. It was actually quite good. Young Jack Raz plays in the pennant team down there, just young fellas Instagramming each other on 15. 15's a par 5. Once again, not an easy par 5.
Nope.
It's like a double dog leg with a bunker carry, and the green's surrounded by bunkers, and it's a tough green. It's
depending on where the pin is, it's not easy to get to either.
Exactly right. So the young Ben's already must be 7 under or something by this stage. Jack Raz has got the video out, watching Ben tee off. Ben's teeing off with one of those tees, the tees that you peg a string into the ground. Like, no one uses one. Certain countries and cultures that don't want to lose tees. He's playing with one of these tees that you peg into the ground. Now, he's a professional golfer, and he's playing with one. So he's obviously having a laugh. He stripes his drive and then walks off with a funny walk, with a bit of a club twist, and then picks his unlosable tee up, and they're just having a bit of fun. The kid's 7 under by this stage, or 8 under. It's and they're having fun. That's maybe something is in that, eh? Got to have some fun.
Absolutely.
But then I think he birdies that hole. The birdies the next, eagles the 17, which is once again not a easy par 5.
That's a hard birdie hole.
Yeah.
Well, 16, it's not that long.
16 is a
but
par
the thing
3.
is, though, that green is diabolical to hit.
Yeah.
Depending on where the pin. Actually, it doesn't matter where the pin is. It's actually really hard to get to. Then 17, like, tee shot has to be absolutely mint. The second shot even has to be minter. And then it's a big green, and then you've got 18.
Yeah, big green. The 17 is to have a throw on the 17 is phenomenal, because the green slopes away from the direction of play. You're coming in with a long iron, like, doesn't matter how long you hit it. Like, you're coming in with a 5 iron, 6 iron at most. Maybe Ben might tell us what he came in with.
With a hook lie.
Yeah, with a hook lie. And it's hard to get the ball to stop, and everything feeds to the back. So if the pin's at the back and you can get it to stop before it runs off the green on those treacherously fast greens,
good luck.
You might have a chance. But yeah, it's good luck. So he's obviously hit it close or drained the putt or whatever. But a 3 on a par 5 is good at any stage, whatever the hole. And then to birdie the 18th, that phenomenal. It's just phenomenal golf.
Good golf.
So good luck to you, Ben. I don't know Ben. I know his partner, Chloe, who's also a young women professional golfer who's a member at the club. I've played with Chloe before, and she's a lovely young lady. So good luck. Well done. I just, while you're there, and we're talking about Peninsula Kingswood members. I just want to wish a couple of others good luck. Two young men are off playing in the Mackenzie Tour School qualifying this week. Young Brody Harbinson and Cameron John. They're over there in Canada trying to qualify for the Mackenzie Tour. So good luck to those two boys. They put a phenomenal amount of work into their golf games. I see them down there a lot. Both absolute specimens of fit young men, and they put a lot of work in. So good luck to them, and hope you both do well and get a gig over there. But if not,
amazing how much input and how much Mackenzie Hughes is already giving back, being named after the tour over there.
Yeah,
exactly. I thought you were going to
exactly.
say, but the last thing the tour needs is another Cam from Australia.
Yeah, well,
it's Cameron's own.
Well, Cameron John has performed very well in Australia over the summer and a couple of summers before that. He's a solid young golfer, great young man. Was also always fond of Cameron because he's won in Scotland. He won at Gullen and the Scottish Stroke Play many years ago, 2016. So his picture is up at one of the most famous golf clubs in Scotland. And so good luck, boys. Good luck. What next? What's next, gents?
Well, there's a couple of things still from the heritage before we finish off.
Oh, yes.
So I don't know if you've heard me sort of dropping the Glacier name because Mike referred to Patrick Cantlay and everyone talks about Paddy Ice. I watched him and it was so bad. Like he's so slow. And actually, you think about who's playing behind him, Varner and Lowry. I wonder if there's a stat on strokes gained or lost if you're playing behind Patrick Cantlay, because he is glacial pace. Like it's getting really ridiculous, especially on the greens. Like he was so slow. Time one where it was like the fourth hole and he had like about a 15-footer. He'd already spent 2 minutes and hadn't even stood over his ball, and they cut away from him to go play another shot. And they've showed that shot, come back, and then he's standing over his ball. Like he's glacial pace.
I actually
ridiculous.
I did notice someone playing quite slowly on the weekend, but I don't know if it was him. Yeah, I've never noticed.
So you think about Lowry and Varner, how many times could they have been waiting for Cantlay on the greens? And remember what we talked about the other week?
Yeah.
With in terms of how certain players played again. Glacier watch is on
Paddy Ice.
Glacier.
Paddy.
And then the other one of note, and it's getting a little bit out of hand, is Eric Van Rooyen.
The Mo.
No, let's call it a mouth mullet. That's what it is. I'm pretty sure that he's seen Cam Smith's success and gone, how can I get in on this? Not copy him. I'm going to go with a mouth mullet. That's what it is at the moment. It's either a mouth mullet or he's like auditioning to be a vaudevillian or something.
That'll stick.
Ridiculous.
Mouth mullet will stick.
I've never heard that before.
No, neither have I. That needs to be on a t-shirt.
Yeah. Mouth mullet.
I made it up. I'm thinking, what is it? I was thinking Cam Smith, mouth mullet.
I like
That's what it is.
I like it.
Funnily enough, I'm looking at myself here in this screen here.
If you get the edges off.
Yeah, my mouth mullet's the only bit of red hair that's remaining. My wife
you've got a mustache.
Yeah, I know, but
Ryan, he's probably putting Brill cream and all sorts of stuff in there to keep it out of his chompers because there's so much there. It's ridiculous. And there's a twist and stuff.
Yeah. I reckon in the coverage,
give him a top hat, and he's the Monopoly man.
His missus wants it gone too, so I don't know. We'll see how he goes. It's probably going to end up gone soon enough.
It's the only bit of red hair that I've got left.
And does he wear socks?
No, well, he wears those jodhpur type things, the short, long short. He wears the cuff version of what you had down at Barnbougle, mate. Long shorts or short longs. No, he wears those jodhpur type things with the elasticized bottom, and sockets.
There's not
many. He might as well have the padding out the side and put a whip under his arm. He's got the mustache for it, maybe a bit of a pipe out of the side, and a little bit of a hat on. Bit of polo for the day. Oh, jolly old chaps, let's go smack some balls around.
There's not many pros left that don't wear the short socks with the long pants. I think everyone does.
Yeah. Colin,
it's a shocking look.
Colin's got the short socks.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a shocking. It's a shocking look. It's a shocking look. I remember we got the Drummond Golf conference coming up, and I remember once, we dressed up in suits and all that sort of stuff. We don't usually get dressed up in dress gear, but I saw one of the guys at the awards night dressed up in a suit, and I looked across and I thought he looks all right. Yeah, scrubs up pretty well. And just happened to glance down, he had the short socks on with the business shoes, and I was like, mate, you can't do that.
No, it's either get you get the ballet dancer ones where they're just kind of the socks, but they're below the heel, and you can't see anything because you can't go half. So either you got full socks or no socks.
No, if I was wearing shorts, I get the low sock thing. But
that makes sense. But if you're wearing a business
pants.
suit, as I say, don't trust anyone that doesn't wear socks.
Mate, just if you're wearing a business suit, just every part of your dress has to start with business, and then you'll be right. Business shoes, business socks, even your business undies, mate. I don't care.
Yeah.
Anyway, Eric Van Rooyen, he's a handy golfer. I don't mind Eric as a golfer. He's solid.
He's now in the top 10 for the international
Yeah,
team.
we're gonna have to start keeping track of that. How far away?
Well, speaking of that, obviously Melbourne was announced as a venue for the 2028 President's Cup
and the 2040
2040. It seems like a million years away, but let's focus on the 2028. I woke up last Friday morning, had an email in my inbox going, if you want to come to the press conference to announce that, you can come along. I didn't go, but I got all the info and the photos, and it was great. But the rumours around Peninsula Kingswood, or the discussion around it coming to Peninsula Kingswood, are fairly upbeat, naturally, as it would be as a member body with that course. They're pretty confident that they want to have it, and the PGA Tour people have been down there and expected the place. That happened on Thursday. And, you'd have to think that the place was in genuine consideration. Now, I got bombarded by people telling me that don't be silly. That's a joke. Of course, why would you change from Royal Melbourne when Royal Melbourne's been so successful? And, of course, if it doesn't go to Royal Melbourne, it's only going to go to Kingston Heath. Well, I say no. I say, what a great venue to have an event like that. And here's my justification. We'll leave the course to last. But in terms of, Rocket, you and I were down on the ground. Let's call it commentating live down there on the ground, podcasting live down there at Royal Melbourne.
Sledging Bryson from the third box.
Terminal velocity. And there was a lot of people there, right?
Yep.
And I'm pretty confident, I'm pretty qualified to say that golf's gone cocoa bananas since then in terms of participation. And let's hope by 2028 that it's still that way.
Yep.
Even so, there'll be a lot of people there, Tiger or not, but I'm sure Tiger will still be there in some way, shape or form if he can be.
Yep.
But there'll still be a lot of people. And I think that Royal Melbourne was just a little bit overwhelmed with the amount of people on that part of the property. Maybe people might want to challenge me on that. The other thing is, they've got to span it across the two courses, the facilities on one side, and, not that creates a drama, but, it spreads it out a lot. And then getting in and out of there, getting out of there it took me 2 hours to get out of there.
Hard.
Yeah. So obviously with any big event, you've got this wonderful golf course, which is in the middle of suburbia, in the middle of surrounding houses. There's not great transport links, train links, that sort of thing. It's all that sort of stuff. Now, Peninsula Kingswood is perfectly located with, you see how they run the traffic in these big events. There's one way in, one way out. You come down the freeway, go up past the place and go out the other freeway. There's a train station a kilometre away. Plenty of
buses.
Plenty of room to park all of the players' individual private helicopters. You can choose their own fairway of the 36 holes. It'd be magnificent. Plenty of places to put the infrastructure. I think it'd be magnificent. And then the course, people asking me, would it be the north or the south? Well, the south, I think, is dedicated, not dedicated, but set up to be the longer of the course, the more tournament-oriented courses. But I think, and Mike, you might have asked, would it be on a composite? I think there might be at least two versions of a tournament-level composite course that exist, potentially. I don't know that officially, But I reckon that there's a unbelievable composite routing, or maybe even two of, that would host an unbelievable tournament down there that would stand that course would stand up against anything we have in Australia.
Yep.
I don't disagree with you. I really don't. I know when we talked about it was before we knew that the PGA had been through, and I said I'd have to be 100-1. But I don't. It's not downplaying the course itself, because I think the course is absolutely good enough to hold the President's Cup as a course. I think the tricky part is, as much as the infrastructure is there for the stuff that we talked about with transport and bits and pieces like that, for the majority of he's got that different add-on. As much as the transport's there for the train and bits and pieces, it is still a lot further away from Melbourne than the other courses. So what for me, that's one of the trickier parts, right?
In what way?
So say you want to get the train.
Yeah.
How long does it take to get the train to get there?
45 minutes. There'll be express trains from the city. No problems.
Better than
There
trying
won't
to
be
drive.
express trains. There's 0% chance you can have express trains.
Well,
You caught a
No,
train?
for an event like that,
No way.
they would do something
Of
specific.
course they would. Of
Zero.
course they would.
We don't,
No, they would.
I'm telling you now, you wouldn't have, you don't get express trains for the footy. You're not getting it for anything. Melbourne doesn't work that way. I'm not saying it shouldn't, but you won't get it, right? Because our infrastructure of the train line heading down there is one train line. So you cannot pass other trains. You have trains, you have to wait. You'll just end up, that is the hardest part for it. If for public transport it's further away, and for people to stay, they're going to want to stay people closer to town and be able to get there. That is the biggest thing going against it. Outside of the fact that if RM wants it, RM will get it. It's as simple as that. But I don't disagree with you. If Royal Melbourne says, look, we've had enough, we're happy to share it around, it's not for us this time around, and it'd have to be in the mix. But for me, the biggest thing that's going to come up against is, yes, the infrastructure is there, but when they look at it for people that are going to travel from overseas or interstate, where are they going to stay and how are they going to get there? Yes, they can get the train, but it is probably twice as long to get there versus Royal Melbourne.
It hasn't stopped half of the golfers of Australia, plus now the ones that are coming from all over the world, to get down there and play. It's not an issue. It's not an issue.
That's not the same argument. I got that everything you said again. No, people will travel to the National to play golf. It's not about how far it is to play golf. To actually get up each day, because you got to remember, people that are coming here to see it, they're going to want to go 2 or 3 days, right? And they're going to want to go down there. Now, are people going to want to get the train for an hour each way every day, 3 days in a row? No, I don't think they would.
I actually reckon the people that want to go to that event, they're probably going to be already thinking about, I'm going to rent a place down that way.
Absolutely, 100%. People, but then that again comes to that infrastructure piece of, if people are going to stay down towards Frankston, as an example, or towards the bay, down that way, what's there for them? What else are they doing? Are they just coming in for golf? Are they going to want to go to restaurants? How's this going to work? They're the things that they're going to be thinking about, in my opinion. I'm nobody, right? So I've got no say. For me, it doesn't matter.
I think that's the thing that we think about. I went to a little golf tournament a couple of years ago, which you might have heard of, called the Solheim Cup. Now, the Solheim Cup's at Glen Eagles. The Solheim Cup is in the middle of nowhere in Scotland. It's not near Glasgow. It's not near Edinburgh. It's not near any big city that has any of the infrastructure that Melbourne has. There's no train line there. There's no direct route. You got to drive there. And there was a gazillion people there for 5 or 6 days, and it wasn't an issue. But, people want to go there for an international event. They'll go and they'll turn up.
It's a little bit of it's like you put it there and they'll come.
I'm not arguing with anything either of you are saying, but what I'm saying is, the flip side of the coin is, I did the same. I went to the Open Championship. I stayed in Liverpool. It was 45 minutes up to Birkdale every day. I did it every day and had no qualms about it.
Yeah.
People will do it. But you if someone said, you can play, we're going to have the event at Royal Melbourne, or we're going to have it at Peninsula Kingswood, forget courses. The ability to stay in the city and get to RM every day is a lot easier than getting to Peninsula Kingswood.
I reckon that if once you get to it, to get into and out of RM every day was a hassle. It was a hassle. Like, it was hard. It took me. I had to go from on the Thursday.
But where are you coming from?
No, I was there. So I came from here,
yeah,
Adeliza, and drove up there. That was fairly easy to go away from the city towards the city and park there. I had a special car park, all that sort of beautiful stuff. But even with my special car park, you know, it was like a half an hour walk from my special car park to the event. And then to get out of there, I had to go to the city. It took me 2 hours. It took me 2 hours to drive from Royal Melbourne at the end of the day's play to get out of there with the traffic and the whatever else and to get back to the city. 30, 20, not even 15 kilometres, 20 kilometres. Just because it's right in the middle of suburbia.
Yeah.
It's not at the end of two adjoining freeways. The one freeway going that way, one freeway going this way. Boom.
And that doesn't include the odd Nepean on the other side.
Anyway.
Yeah, I feel like I'm arguing again. I'm not arguing. I feel like I'm disagreeing with two blokes that are extremely biased to one of the options.
I don't know. I've changed my hat. Yeah, you're being very.
I'm not biased to either. I don't care. I'm going to go. That's what I'm saying. I don't care. I live in the complete opposite side of town. It doesn't worry me in the slightest. I will go. I'll probably go 2 days max. And I would say most people that are from local would go 2 days max, right? And I would say if you're coming from interstate or overseas, you're going to want to do more than 2 days.
Mm.
But I'd say I'm not disagreeing with you about the course. The course can stand up. Absolutely no doubt in the world. The infrastructure to get in and out if you're driving is probably easy because the freeways are there. No disagreement.
My questions are now is who chooses? Do you know who chooses? Is it the PGA Tour that chooses? Is it the state government that chooses?
No, I think it's PGA Tour.
That would be the tour, yeah.
Really? So the state government doesn't have a lot of influence over where it should go?
They would probably have input, but I don't think they'll have final say.
I would think the biggest thing going in your favour right now for PK is it hasn't been announced where it is. Because if it was a lay down was there, they would have already said it's Royal Melbourne and everyone would have gone, of course it is.
And the fact that the team that redesigned PK also holds Mr. Ogilvy. So Mr. Ogilvy should be, even though he lives off the back of one of the holes at RM and loves that place, there's no doubt that he'll be drawing away inside the ears of the relevant stakeholders that are making decisions.
I just think that, I mean, you Rocket, you listen to the No Laying Up guys, right? The constant conversation is, and Ross, if I can mute you, I would, because you're about to go off your head. The idea of this tournament in particular, President's Cup, being bigger is taking it to great golf courses, right? Because people want to see great golf courses. I'm not saying PK is not a great golf course, but globally right now, it's not on the scale of great golf courses. So people around the world want to see Royal Melbourne and they want to see Kingston Heath. That's why I think that they will lean in the favour of playing it at one of those two.
Well, sorry for those that don't watch those that don't watch the YouTube. You know, if Mike and I were in the same room, we'd be like nearly squaring up right now. We'd be nearly squaring up.
Mike would be there saying, none of this worries me.
So PK as a course, if that course gets firm and fast as they did for RM, that thing
absolutely
will compete on the world stage.
Absolutely.
And flexes its muscles.
100%. But right now, no one has any clue of that. That's my point. As in, like, if they're talking about pumping up a golf course, say you live in Canada and you want to go to the President's Cup for some unknown reason, and you're going to go to Australia. Yep, we're holding it at Peninsula Kingswood. They're like, going to have to look that up. And that's not a bad, it's just because it's newer, right? It doesn't have that legacy, right? Whereas if they go to Royal Melbourne, okay, yeah, I'm in for that. And they know straight away. I don't mean this in a bad way. I'm really not talking about down about PK. I think it's an exceptional place, exceptional course. And for the next time around, I would say it would probably be a much, much bigger chance just because of the time that it will have in the middle. Do you know what I'm saying? I'm not trying to be.
Oh, I know what you're saying. Yeah, it's the name, right? Everyone knows what Royal Melbourne is, and because it's tied to Alistair McKenzie, and then they just go the loop around, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Easy.
It's not saying it's a bad course at all.
Easy way out. No laying up. If you want to, you missed us on Tourist Source Australia 7 years ago. If you want to come back down, Rock and I are happy to host you around there and take you through the ins and outs.
I'm sure they'd love that.
Yeah.
I'd be surprised if the boys
I might make some
aren't
time
keen
in
to
my
be down
calendar.
here.
Andy,
Get Maddie to message the boys.
Andy Johnson, if you want to come down and check it out, Steve Britton, he'll bring you down and come down with Steve, and Rocket and I will take you around, Andy. No problems at all, and we'll help you put it on the map. For those of you that want to see how good Peninsula Kingswood looks and you haven't seen it, well,
Go to YouTube.
Go to YouTube. Check out my Instagram, ross.flanagan.golf. It's fairly full of photos of Peninsula Kingswood, which a lot of people comment on and seem to appreciate. And Barnacle. Well, two great golf courses. Everyone
photos.
I like seeing great golf courses. I like looking at other people's.
You put one up the other day that I said it was an absolute perfect. What was that one? Was that PK? I think it was PK.
Yeah, that was the 18th. That was a drone shot of the 18th green. Yeah, in the right light, and it was just a drone shot, and it was just a mug like me flying a drone. So if a mug like me flying a drone, taking a photo of the 18th can make it look that good, imagine how good it looks in the hands of a great photographer or in real life. There you go. I'm going to leave my PK hat on for the rest of this event and until it's announced. Sorry, Mike. I love you, Mike.
I don't.
You're not coming back. You're not coming back.
They can announce PK tomorrow, and I'll be like, "Yeah, cool. I'm there. I'm still going to go." Might get the bloody train though.
Anyway, okay. What else? We've got the women. We've got the LA Tour, LET, and Australian AWPGA Tour co-sanctioned event at Bonneville this week. So a lot of the women from the LET have come down. They played last week in Thailand at that mixed event, the men's and women's event together. Yep. Go Team Scotland, headed up by my friend Gabrielle McDonald. She's up there at Bonneville. Sorry, Gab, I will not be able to get up there to see you, but do Scotland proud, and Laura and some of the other Scots that are there. There's a contingent of great Scottish girls on the LET that have come down. Keely Marks is up there, another friend of the podcast. She got invited up there by Golf New South Wales to go and play. She's still an amateur, of course, but she's up there playing up and alongside the pros. So great experience for that young lady. Just go yourself, Keely, and you'll do yourself proud and enjoy the experience. And then they move up to Coolangatta for the second event up there next week. So, yeah, it's pretty big for women's golf in Australia at the moment. Odd places to have it, but Bonneville's a great course. It's a bit hard for us to get to, so we're definitely not going to go there. But
I'm going to go there.
You'll go there?
One of the very few places I've never played. I'm going to go.
Yeah, well, let's go, because I've never played at Bonneville either.
I've heard nothing but good things. But from Melbourne, we've never had a direct flight. And I believe they've just put direct flights back on.
To Coffs Harbour.
Yeah.
Let's go.
I think maybe next week.
Rocket, have you been?
Nope.
How far is Coffs from you? Can you fly from Brisbane to Coffs, or is it still like a 7-hour drive, yeah?
It'd be, because I think it's like 8.5 to Newcastle. So it'd be
only about 6. No,
I think
Coffs is 4 from Newcastle. Coffs is definitely 4 from Newcastle because Newcastle's my hood, and Foster's 2.
I think it's
4 hours.
No,
3.5. It's 3.5 from Newcastle.
It's 4 hours.
No,
Rocket, get fed.
4 hours from Brisbane.
I'll meet you there on Saturday.
No.
Okay, well here's the plan. All right, so Rocket. Okay, we'll give you 6 hours because. Here's the because, and this is part of the plan.
Going to Google Maps.
To save a bit of investment, Mike, because we've got to fly up there and we'll put some money towards other things. Rocket's going to tow the caravan down, and we'll stay in the caravan.
No, you lost me
at Bonneville.
You lost me at caravan,
mate. We stayed in that place at Bridport, and that was as luxurious as Rocket's luxury caravan.
I wasn't booked by me. Normally, my caravaning is a hotel that doesn't have Foxtel. That's about as roughing it as I get. I'm not doing the caravan.
Rocket's caravan has Foxtel.
I'm sure Rocket's. I've seen Rocket's caravan. It looks lovely.
And it's got perfectly.
I'll stay in the.
Accommodation. Yeah, so it is. Oh, it is 4 hours. That's not too bad.
I'll get there Saturday.
You can drive there.
I don't know. I've done that drive so many times, but the thing is, though, I'm driving at like very long distances over a very short period of time. I do lose track of how long it is to go from stop to stop, because it's like, I just need to get to this destination so we can pull over somewhere and go to sleep after 11 hours of driving.
No DP World Tour event this week. They've got the weekend off, so we won't see that.
They're playing Spain.
Oh, sorry, no DP World Tour last week.
Last week.
What I
Who
meant.
cares
That's
about
what I
that
meant to
event?
say.
There's only one event there's one event that matters this week.
Greg's 30. What's Greg's event?
The pairs event in
No,
Zurich.
no. It's the LA Open.
It is the LA Open.
The women's
not
LA,
sorry.
the LA Open at Wilshire Country Club.
I hadn't gone back to the LPGA Tour, so the Lottie Championship was on last
Only
week.
a tournament that matters this week
Really?
at an amazing course.
Wilshire Country Club, right in the dead smack bang middle of Metropolis. Talking about Metropolis,
From downtown LA.
LA, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Talk to us about Wilshire. What do you know about Wilshire? Who did that?
George Thomas design course in original condition in the middle of nowhere, not very long. And again, it's just a ball striker's paradise, just a classic course. And it's just fantastic to see the women play that event and just to see a good classic course being played with a tournament. And the beautiful thing is that the LPGA were able to claim the title of LA Open because effectively it was given up by the men with the what's the Genesis,
Genesis
Invitational,
the Nissan.
Yeah, the old Nissan
The
LA
Nissan
Open.
Open. Yeah, no, the LA Open.
Yeah, so they've gone, no, we'll bring the name back, LA Open, just for the women. And I just love this event. Love it.
Is it going to be on TV on Foxtel?
Yeah, it will be.
Yep.
Yeah, it will be.
Okay.
So, I'm usually watching this one more so than the teams event. Although some of the teams that are in this year's one, I kind of wish they would mic some of these groups up because it would be just awesome.
Who have we got as the key pairings? Probably should have talked about this about 55 minutes ago, but anyway.
No. So the key, the key pairings, Victor's playing with Cole Morikawa and Xander Schauffele's playing with Patrick Cantlay. So they're probably, and then Leishman and
Max Homer, Taylor Gooch.
Yeah.
Be fun. That'd be one for the mics.
Oh, absolutely.
My boy Harry Higgs is playing with Austin Smotherman, I think. There's another good one.
I don't know what it is. I don't know much about Smotherman, but what I do know is I love his name.
No, that's why I said it.
Smotherman.
And who's playing with who?
Higgs is playing with Smotherman, I think, off the top of my head.
Sounds like a Simpsons character.
Yeah, that's it. First year rookie. Yeah, no, I don't mind it, this event. I will be having a look. I'll probably steer away from the favourites just because it's a lottery as it is. The one that I probably like the most is Neiman and Mito Pereira. I don't mind the Gooch pick. I've really just had a look at how people have played here in years gone by.
Jay Haas and Billy Haas are playing.
Are they playing together?
Jay Haas is playing.
I don't have any data of Jay Haas.
Oh my God. The PNC's in December, fellas.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the only other one that's doing his best work is what's his name? Who's picked up Scotty Scheffler this year? He had
Ryan Palmer. Yeah,
Ryan Palmer.
He had John Rahm the other year.
John Rahm for 2 years in a row.
He's all over it. He's dropped Rambo like a hot potato.
Scheffler.
And he's
number one 3 years in a row.
I think it was after the first win. After the first win, I think he's hit him up to play in the Zurich. So Ryan Palmer's looking for that second 2-year exemption.
That's it. How did he go?
He's a
very
grifter.
smart man. Well, he finishes here.
Imagine the backroom posturing. How does he? Is he like on the text every day? Or is like Scotty, are we in? Are we on? Or has Scotty just said whatever?
I reckon he must think about this. I'm sure he must think about this event and try and sort of like have a sort of a hit list and kind of just roam around the edges and then just go, who's in form in this year? Bang! I'm going to hit him up.
Absolutely.
He's got a data lake for the Zurich like Mike has.
Yeah, he probably does.
Pulling the data up straight away.
Who's hot rolling into the Zurich?
It's pretty easy data.
And who's going to be a nice guy that I'm going to ask, and they're just going to go, yeah, no worries, this will be fun.
That's it. That's what he would have said too.
Yeah.
Oh, it'd be great fun. Oh yeah, no worries, let's do it.
I think the ones that I'd like, outside of the favourites who are going to be super short, Sam Burns and Billy Horschel, not a bad group. Gooch and Homer, Neiman and Pereira,
I'm disappointed Poulter and Stenson aren't playing together.
Poulter's playing with someone.
He's playing with
Is he Bobby Mack?
Lowry.
Bobby Mack's playing with someone random as well. But Herbie might have a good week.
Who's Herbie bear with?
Playing with Arjun Artwal.
Interesting.
I could see a couple of those guys, the guys that have been, around the edges in the last few months having weeks that aren't, horrendous. I'm trying to think of it now. Yeah, Higgs is playing with Smotherman. Yeah, it's a very weird week. Bo Hosler and Sahith Theegala. That's another one where two guys that have shown a bit of form lately, and they're 80-1. But no, the ones I said at the start are the ones I'd stick with. But yeah, Pereira and Neiman or Gooch and Homer, like you said, Rocket, they're good picks.
Actually, the one that's going to get a bit of airtime on the shotgun start will be Jason Day playing with Jason Scrivener.
I know. So I just saw Scriv. He's got Scriv over there to play.
Unbelievable.
Fantastic.
The pirate.
And they are in Spain this week. I've had a very, very quick look at it. Again, staying away from the favourites. I've come up with 4 names: Marcus Kinnolt, Pablo Larrazabal, Adrian. I can never say this bloke's name.
Otaegui.
And Roman Lasang.
So hold on, Roman
Lasang, QUE at the end.
Langasque.
Sorry. Got my S's and my G's around.
Sorry, man. I don't be the school teacher here, but
that's all right. Euro Tour is your world, not my world. I just look at the numbers. I don't even know who these people are.
Okay. Got a course locked away for the Scotland 2022 schedule. Won't be announcing the schedule. Not that there really is a solid schedule, but there is one locked away. Pretty special place. We'll leave that for another time until I see it in writing. It's been verbally communicated and committed, but let's just say I'll be straight off the plane and straight onto somewhere, which is pretty good.
Are you not telling us because
until I see it in writing?
Because my love of golf doesn't know yet, and it's somewhere that you're not supposed to be heading to.
No, it's all right. It's all good. Just
it's in Scotland.
Yeah.
It's not in England or.
Nope. No. It's day one. It's like basically the first day. Boom, gone. See ya. But that's that. Boom, gone. See ya. First day is okay, but when it's the 3rd, 5th, 7th, 8th, 10th, 15th, 12th, that might be an issue. But first day is all right. Anyway, it was good news today. Good news day. More on that later. Romain Langasque. Anything else? When's the Greg Norman show that you want to watch? Rocket?
Tomorrow. Oh, I'll be watching it on delay.
Yeah, I'll watch it on delay too.
Yeah.
I don't think
Lego Masters with the kids tomorrow from 7:30 till 9 o'clock.
Mm-hmm. I'll be watching whatever Mrs. Magic Mike says we're watching, and it won't be that. I don't think that's on the hit list.
The Voice?
No, it won't be that. Probably be MasterChef or one of those shows.
Is MasterChef back on?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't like that show. Not my dice. What are we doing about the cheese? Do I need to tell you? We've got to have a random draw for.
Have you got the names?
No, I haven't worked out how you get names of your YouTube subscribers.
Okay.
I will. I think it is possible, but we've cracked 150.
Boom.
We're now at 151. Don't stop because there's another cheese off to 200. So we're giving away cheese at 150, and we'll be giving away more cheese. There's some other things that we'll be giving away. We want to do a little bit of a survey, and we've been putting, part of the outcomes of the management meeting that we had down at Barnbougle. If I call it a management meeting, it might be tax effective way of discussing that and having that sort of meeting down there at Barnbougle. If anyone's from the ATO, please don't. Anyway, we'll delete that. We might be doing a bit of a survey just to get some information and just to keep connecting with you all, but more on that later. Rocket, your background this week is the Shark.
The Shark from the Swan Lager ad.
Is that the WA Opens on?
Hands up if you drunk a Swan Lager.
Is that really it?
What's that?
Is that why you got it? Because the WA Opens on? Swans from
No.
Western
No.
Australia?
This is the actual Swan Lager ad. The old, go and look it up. Swan Lager ad from like 1986.
But Swan was made in.
The old, they said you'd never make it.
Yeah.
and you finally came through.
I thought you had it up because it was made in Perth and it's WA PGA this week. I thought
No,
you were on really
it's
cryptic.
It's
for
because
me.
of the Sharks thing this week.
Gotcha.
This is around about the time. This is 86. So he's effectively wearing the same gear as what he wore in the British Open. They did a really crap job of trying to mock up like a crowd,
Reenactment,
basically
yeah.
standing on top of him. The dude who's on the bag isn't even his caddy. And, it's just a ripping ad, Swan Lager ad.
Was
this is back when Alan Bond, I think, owned the company. Had Swan Lager ads based around Australia 2 winning, America's Cup, the Shark. It's awesome. This is like right into my childhood.
Of course, drink responsibly. But so you're telling me that's not Isaiah Aoki in the background there?
No, it's not.
Oh, okay. He would have been
because they would be doing they would be pretending that would be Tommy Nakajima.
Tommy Nakajima, yeah, okay, yeah. That's why. Sorry, I got the wrong Japanese statesman of golf. Tommy Nakajima. There you go.
And then the 30 for 30 is going to be cool. I think it's going to be interesting.
Because what can we expect? Let's give us the precursor. What should we expect?
They're talking about obviously the Shark in terms of over his life.
Mm-hmm.
So they're going to expand over. I'm surprised they didn't kind of do a multi-part thing because you could pack a lot into this. A lot of it is going to be centered around the 96 Masters, which is tragic in itself, but I still think what needs to be told is the story of all the others as well. Like there is a graveyard of golf karma that the Shark has been on the receiving end of. And I don't think people quite really understand what he went through, but as a fan who rode every bump, like I rode them all and it was not fun. And so they're diving into a bit of the 96 Masters, and apparently they filmed some stuff from last year, and he was actually back at Augusta, sort of walking through certain holes and turning points and stuff like that. So it's 70 minutes. I don't know I don't know how much they're going to cover and how much they can pack into 70 minutes.
Once we've all watched it, we should do a half-hour review.
Okay.
Yep.
Where do I find it? Where's it going to be on?
It'll be on
KO
Foxtel or KO.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yep.
Okay, well, we'll do that. What's today? Tuesday? Might do that.
Tuesday.
Thursday or Friday. I don't know, whenever. Okay. Very good. Good luck to all the players playing at the WA Open, Kalgoorlie. That course looks talking about good-looking courses.
Grass in the middle of grass in the middle of a red desert.
Yeah, it looks pretty special. Well, good luck. Good luck to Matty Howe, who's across there representing My Love of Golf. He's wearing the My Love of Golf hat. He's wearing the My Love of Golf towel. And what else has he got? He's got the My Love of Golf T-shirt. Young Matty Howe is around the corner. He's over there playing in it. Good luck, Matty.
Nice.
All right. All good?
Good.
That's us done. Well, thanks for listening, everyone. Please, we've cracked 151 viewers, subscribers on the YouTube channel. We'll get some cheese out to a lucky winner from the first 150 subscribers when we work out how to work that out. But please, it'll be even more cheese when we get to 200, and that might coincide with Peak Cheese Week. And there might be a special T-shirt or something to celebrate Peak Cheese Week. And if you are the 200th or part of that 200, you might win the cheese and the Peak Cheese Week T-shirt. You can see the design on the Instagram if you want to see the Peak Cheese Week design. But thanks for listening. Thanks for following along. Thanks for your support. And like, share, subscribe, do all the wonderful things. And we'll see you next week.